Good morning, guys. How we going? And welcome back to another video at AJ's Car Garage. So, before we kick the video off, I re-watched the last video I put up, and I just want to reiterate a couple of things that I stuffed up on. One being camshaft lobe for what I was saying about the front lobes being up, or sorry, down, through the E series A right through to FGX. That would be so totally incorrect, considering BAs, BFs, and so on a twin cam, and we're talking about a single cam. So just to reiterate, yeah, these cams A series probably, through the E, and I'm guessing, before the E series as well, through the X series. Never really dealt with X series vehicles, except for an XH Ute that I did own, which was a long reach 1-tonner, but they are the same as an EL, I'm pretty sure. So yeah, I haven't messed around with cams going back to crossovers, which I'm pretty sure were the XH motors. And also I mentioned that there's no electronics that are run off this. Now, it's a sensor, and I'm pretty sure it's triggered by this here. Bit of research, yes. I've got the timing marks in the book, but some auxiliary shafts, like this one, have two lots of timing marks. So you got this dot here, which apparently lines up with that mark there, and you got these two marks here. Now, for the A series, we go by these marks, which I'm pretty sure that mark is the locking mechanism for the auxiliary shaft itself. But yeah, pretty sure it's those two marks for the AU, and these two marks for the E series and whatnot prior. But yeah, bit of confusion, and excuse me, always happens when I'm on camera. Bit of indigestion, burping every freaking little bit. Anyway, yeah, a lot of confusion about these gears in particular with the two lot of markings. So we go by that dot endowment, and I'm pretty sure when we put the timing cover on, that that will line up with the cam sensor hole on the timing cover. So yeah, at this point in time, now stepping into today's video content, which is timing, getting the timing cover on, and yeah, whatnot. So also today we'll find out what color my rocket cover is going to be, because previous videos mentioned the timing and the rocket cover are going to be the same color. Yeah, also I'm gonna time the crank and the cam sort of separately, if that makes sense. Now, I have gone over this bolt, done it up properly, and yeah, everything's all marked up. So yeah, just to cover what we're doing, or what I've already done to what we're doing, I've got the timing mark on the cam, roughly where it's going to be. The crank and the auxiliary gears are all marked up where they're going to be. Sorry, the cam's not. Well, it is, but it's not. The cam gear is, as opposed to where the mark's supposed to be. like I said, we're going to degree the cam, or time the cam separately to the rest, and yeah, hopefully we'll be all good. So yeah, I'll grab out me timing cover and rocket cover, and we'll go over them quickly. Hopefully you can sort of see that. It's what I've done my test. It come up pretty well how I wanted it. Different metal butt, obviously it's a muffler, it's steel. This is alloy, and wow, that's really not showing up on camera that great, but you can definitely tell the top's a lot darker, and yeah, I don't know why the side's a lot lighter. Got the same amount of coating, but yeah, it should make an alright effect when it's on the engine, I guess. Yeah, not too impressed about it, to be honest, the way it come out. Yes, there's a couple of scratches on it. Ugly scratch right here. Freaking thermometer got it when it was in baking. Yeah, didn't turn out too bad. Come up pretty good apart from that. Just not, oh, lost my balance. Just not exactly, yeah, happy with the outcome of it being so dark. It's supposed to be light like that if it's gonna bother to show up properly, but it's dark, so yeah, I don't know, we'll see how it looks. And then for whatever reason, the timing cover come up really dark, almost purple looking. I'll take him outside and have a look. See, it's still light on the corners and sort of on the sides. Yes, I got a couple of little run marks on there, but that's alright for this. See. And hit the test. Oh, fuck me. So yeah, anyway, apart from the way it not coming out the way I wanted it, it turned out alright. You can see the difference there. See how light it is, and then how dark it is on top. Like I said, got the exact same amount of coats all over it, so I don't know why it turned out lighter on the sides than the top. And then you got this, see, it's still sort of light around the sides, and then yeah, just dark. Oh well, live we learn. So yeah, anyway, let's get to getting this together. So just go over it. The timing marks are all lined up, so yeah, they're all good. To yeah, reiterate, yeah, I did say where the marks were in the book in the last video. I just want to show you exactly where. Yeah, I did say about 3 degrees. timing marker line 3 degrees above rocker cover rail. Now when they say the rail, they mean the mating surface. So 3 degrees above the surface of where the rocker cover sits, and that's your timing mark. Just explained about them, the confusion about the two different marks. Go the dot and the endowment, and then the crank mark. Crank timing mark's pretty self-explanatory. So at this point, all the gears are timed up. I have already installed the seal in the timing cover, which I have recorded. I'll put in the video now. And yeah, so from here I'll grab out my top seal. I have to find all the bolts for it. Got to grab some brackets and stuff out of there as well, and yeah, get this thing bolted up. I've got to put my tensioner in as well, and yeah. So another little piece of information, considering I screwed up a bit in the last video mentioning that there's nothing that gets electronically controlled off of this gear. That tab, I'm pretty sure ignites the sensor for the cam, and they are the same size, I'm pretty sure, when it comes to teeth. And yeah, the cam sensor sits in here, so I'm pretty sure you should see that tab, lug, whatever you want to call it, through there when it's on. So yeah, let's get it sorted. So I've just got the timing cover sat on there, as you can see, and I just want to verify with you that yes, that lug, endowment, whatever you want to call it, for the cam sensor, it's right there. So yeah, those timing marks are right. That dowel is in the right position. So yeah, we're all good to go from there. Okay guys, so I've just had to mess around with all the timing and everything. I moved something and it just all went out of whack. Now, pretty sure I've got things back as close as possible, and yeah, so let's see if we can't stuff things up anymore. But yeah, so at this point in stage, yeah, everything's sitting there. The chain hasn't got the tensioner behind it, so it's sitting there loosely, so to speak. Yeah, whatever, you know what I'm saying. Now this is sort of the annoying part of putting the cover on there, because, you know, as we all know, engineers like to mess with us mechanics, and yeah, we can't bolt down the timing cover without the power steering bracket. Can't put the power steering bracket on until we've got the tensioner and its yeah, retaining bolt and all that on the engine. So yeah, bit of a frig around, hell of a mess around. Yeah, so basically, oh, and also got to put my new belt tensioner pulley on at the same time. So basically it's and the sensors for the crank and cam sensor. So I'll put the crank and cam sensor on now, and it's guard for the cables, and then we'll put the timing cover on the engine, and then we will loosely bolt up the belt tensioner, put the chain tensioner in, bolt up the power steering bracket, and then tighten it all down. Bit of a fuck around. Just, yeah. Engineers, I should say, in particular. Okay, so I've just pulled out my brand new Icon series crank angle sensor. Here's the box for a part number. Now, I've just gone along and gave my original sensor harness a clean up and retape. Got all the old brill crap off there, cleaned it up, made it look nice and pretty. I'm just gonna how's that shit? Pin or something. Plug him in. Now there's a locating tab there. It goes in this hole here. So that's in there nice, and as you can see, the cable runs through that gully there nicely. Yeah, again, Icon series cam angle sensor. There's a part number for you. Links in the description where I got these from, which is TI Performance. And cam angle sensor goes in there just to make it slide in and seal a bit easier. Just gonna put a little bit of grease around the O-ring. Not too much, try not to make it too messy. Just a little bit, excess off around the bottom. On the exposed part of the sensor itself, keep everything nice and clean up on top, or at least try to. And obviously it's the only hole left there in the center of the timing cover, and she just slips in there. Nicely like that. Again, 8mm bolt. Yeah, I bought these sensors a little while ago. Never been used, they are brand new. If you're a follower of my channel for a while, you'll have known or heard me spoken about chasing my tail with an electrical problem where the car wouldn't start, and yeah, it just wouldn't fire over. Had fuel, had air, obviously, and the spark was very, very intermittent. Anyway, ended up being a harness problem, swapped it out, everything was all good, decided not to use these. Seeing as I've got to do what I'm doing here now, and like, you know, the main reason why I'm doing this for timing cover seal, sump gasket, and rear main seal, you know, everything I got brand new I might as well throw on as well. So a couple of brand new crank and cam sensors and yeah, it's good to go on that end. Now this little plate here will sit on here nicely. I'll just take this back down here. You see there? Okay. Make sure they're tucked down in there nicely. And there you have it. So yeah, everything's tucked away nicely away from the belt, and admittedly it looks pretty good. That silver on the blue. Unfortunately, the blue's not the blue that I wanted, but still looks alright. So at this point in the video, I will clip in me installing the timing cover seal for the crankshaft, which all I did was use a block of wood and a hammer and went around gently. So now from this point on, we need to sort of put it up on the engine. I need to get my retainer put back together with the oil filter screen that I cleaned out nicely. And yeah, the tension bolt itself. So with that, what am I gonna do with this? I'll put this back down here for a minute. So here's the original washer that was on the bolt. I found another washer that is clearly slight bit thicker, but it's got the same, very close to the same internal diameter. External diameter is a little bit bigger, so it might seal that bit better. But yeah, same again, just to help it seal. I'll slide on the bolt a bit easier, slide in the housing a bit easier, and put a bit of grease on it. Preferably you do want rubber grease, but any sort of grease will do, it's not gonna hurt. Just obviously you don't want old used grease. Slide him on there, and just to give you the idea of the difference. And also, that's not squashing, that's hard as, if you can see there, not squashing at all. Now there you can see it's slightly bigger, so it should seal a bit better. Yeah, and go in here like that. I don't feel any issues with that O-ring in there. Whoop. Before we go any further, we need to slide the oil screen. Is there any way top or bottom? Not really that I can think of, or not that I can see. So I'm gonna throw him down in there. Do him up nice and firm, and that's that. Now there is a special tool for these. I don't have one. Yeah, so I think what I'm gonna do is I'll probably get a pair of vice grips on there and do it up as hard as I can. But honestly, I don't really think it needs to be done up that tightly. Just out of curiosity, quick gaze in the book.
2,000 years later.
Okay, so there is no actual torque spec for that or that, but we're going to take a step back from that for a second anyway. So you can't put that in here until that is in there with the tensioner itself to be able to unlock it. So I'm just going to show you a couple of the products that I'm using, more the seals than, because you already know what I'm using retrospectively in the last videos, what brand, when it comes to the timing stuff anyway. But yeah, so I've got Nason timing chain kit here. The timing chain in there that we're not using. I'm going to put that to the side for a second. The tensioner in here, which we will be using. The two side guides that actually attach to the timing cover itself that we will be using. I'll do a little bit of a compare with the old one that I've got there. Now I have got the, being a kit, it come with the Nason seals and whatnot, but I'm using Permaseal gasket kit for the entire build. So I'm going to be using their gaskets for the timing cover and whatnot. That's a Permaseal front crank seal in the cover there already. You can see there's a Nason one. The only thing that I will be using out of these is those two O-rings. Now there is a little metal O-ring there, and yeah, I don't, metal O-ring seal, I don't know what that's for in general. Pulled apart everything and I can't find any little metal seal. Or maybe it's to go in there, or maybe I'll just clean it out really thorough, because that's never actually slipped in and out. Who knows? I don't think so. Anyway, whatever. It can't slide out at the end anyway, so it's not going to get into the engine. It slides out of the top, not the bottom. Anyway, I need those two seals. I'm not going to use the rest. Just gonna. So yeah, let's get to it, eh? Okay, so I've just Hylamard my gaskets. I've cleaned up the mating surfaces on the timing cover and over on the block as well. I need about 10 minutes for that to flash off before it's sticky, adhesible, whatever the deal is. So now I'm gonna put me side chain guides in, yeah, or bottom and side, bottom one here, top one here. Hang on. Confusion. There's two locating tabs right here and there, and it's where 1, 2, those 3 bolts go. Now there's the got a new pulley that goes on here as well. So to replace the old steel pulley, which is that one, which sits on there like that, not on the power steering bracket. There's a part number, link will be in the description for the part. Yeah, some comparison, old to new. And that, it's in there like that, and it sits on the bracket like that. That bolt sits in through there, sorry, then that, and then sits on the cover like that, but you can't put that on until that's in there. But anyway, I'll just leave that off to the side for a minute. That's kind of sorted, ready to sit on there and go. So again, just gonna add a tad bit of grease on this O-ring, help it seal and help it stay in place while we bolt it up to the block so it doesn't slide around. And cause drama. It's sitting there nicely like that. Timing chain install guide. Part 2. Right. Old, new. So you want to make sure the flat part of the guide is going to be facing the chain, so the chain's going to be running through this part. So it needs to be sitting down like that. Now, all I'm going to do is put a bit of RTV goo on here where it's going to sit over and slide down on, just to help it secure itself. It's a chain guide. I think that's all that for preparation of the inside of the timing cover. Ready to go on there. At this point, I'll get my brand new belt tensioner. Old one, new one, dayco. You would have seen it when I was, probably 2 or 3 videos ago. There's a quick comparison. Much nicer unit. So, yeah, we'll see how she goes. But I really should go give bolts for it. A quick clean up. So she sits on there. Damn, that's looking good. I think I made a pretty good choice with that silver. So these two tabs, lock-in tabs, locating tabs rather. See there properly, yep. One. Where's it now? The other. Goes in there. I forgot one gasket. Being this little sucker, it sits up along the top of the timing chain cover. And do to secure this one in there, and put a bit of RTV goo on the ends here, tabs, just to hold it in and help it seal on the ends, and yeah, slide it up on there. We might do that. Whoops, put on there in a minute. Probably making it sound a lot harder than it actually is, but yeah, it's the sort of shit that gets complicated. Gasket. Top time gasket seal. Now these are a little bit of a pain in the ass. They generally do not like to sit in position properly. So yeah, be careful when you go and bolt them up, seal them, all that. Get the gaskets up on there. And try not to touch the surface itself. This sucker goes along there like that. Oh no! Oh, that's no good. The shit's stuck all over it. Well, guess what? I just scored. Pulled out one gasket, got two. Yeah! Cannot complain with that at all. Cheers, Nason, for not catching on to how many gaskets you put in your kits. Anyway, this is the sucker we need. Put him down there and re-spray. Pick this one up, but hopefully we don't drop it. Okay, so after that little malfunction, just gone around and put some assembly lube on the chain as best as I could. Cleaned up the surface on there again. Now, I'm going to try and see if we can't get these on without a malfunction again. Now these are difficult to place because you need to slide them in behind timing guides and whatnot. So, excuse my buff head getting in the way. So there's that one. Hopefully it'll sit there good enough for me for a minute. Well, I'll get this one up on there as well. We'll put the timing cover up on there, and yeah, start getting shit back together hopefully. Now this is rather a mess around job, as I'm sure you've gathered by now. need to Okay, so now that that's 90% done, I'm gonna crack out my chain tensioner. There's brand spanking new. So we've got the tensioner part down in there. Just gonna grab a bit of RTV, image him around the bottom. I think I should point out here, don't cover that hole, whatever you do, otherwise you won't get oil into your tensioner and you can cause dramas, big dramas that you don't want. You're looking schmicky ready to go in. So now I've got the retainer bolt in there. Pretty sure I said earlier that there is no torque spec for them, so what I did was just get me pointing those pliers in the two holes there, twisted it as far as I could and tightened it up, and then just got me multi grips, oh sorry, not multi grips, vice grips, and on there as tight as I could. So she should be relatively secure. From memory, pretty sure there's supposed to be some sort of little tool to get down in there. Like an Allen key that's got a thicker point at one end, because we need to push in on that tensioner that I put in there, which I'll show you what I'm explaining here. Here's my old one. You can see the hex in here. I need to push that in and turn it so it unlocks the mechanism inside and pushes the tensioner itself out against the chain. I just can't remember if I've got, because I did have a makeshift tool, I made one up specifically for doing that. I just can't remember if I still have it or not. So I found something that was gonna work, and it's a T5 Torx bit. It'll sit down in that hex quite nicely, and because it's flared at the end a little bit, pushes in to do what I've got to do. Now, if you want to know, if you can't find something like that to fit down in there nicely, now I did have to remove the filter screen out of it to be able to get my bit down in there far enough. But worst case scenario, if you can't do that, and this is how I made my last tool, Allen key that fits in there obviously, and I actually sacrificed my telescopic magnet for the last one, but because I can't find the one that I made up last time, I was going to sacrifice my telescopic mirror to do the same thing. So there's just a little handy tip if you can't find something to do the job properly, or if you haven't got the tool. T5 Torx bit, and yeah, that, you know, being a proper tool is sort of how I described of making one, something like that, because it's a lot skinnier than that, obviously, to be able to get down without removing that. But anyway, yeah, I'm gonna get this thing unlocked and put the filter screen back in and get some stuff bolted out. Now we've got a retaining bolt and a tensioner bolt in there itself. We can finally get the last two bolts in there to hold it down, and then I'll go around and nip them up properly with the torque wrench. I just want to take the time here and mention one thing that I've heard people do, and I'm not sure how they go about it, but you know, as you can see, that'll be the front, and your tensioner bolt sits in this little circle right here. So what people do, and this is what I'm not sure about, is drill out that section there so you can access the tensioner bolt and whatever from the side through there like that. But yeah, I'm not 100% sure how they do it, but that's what they do, and it's more or less quick access to be able to untension your chain or tension your chain without having to fuck around and take this bloody thing off, which ideally is a good idea. Anyway, alright, bottom bolt, place him on there first. Bottom bolt, through there like that, and then the pulley and the bolt. Top one there like that. The 20 Newton meters for timing cover bolts. 20 Newton meters is 14 foot-pound, 14.75 foot-pound. So I'm just going to adjust it quickly. 14. Just go there, that'll do it. A little bit closer than halfway towards 15. There we go. These are probably relatively close already. Click. Now there is no specific sequence. lot of tension on that. So that's the timing cover on there now. All bolted up, tensioned up with the timing tensioner in the side here. Basically, to finish off, I ought to put the other part of the bracket on, which is this part, which sits in there like that and bolts up to the block, and that the other part of the power steering bracket there. So I'll get that done in a minute. The main part of that for the moment is done. Next step, like I just said, we'll get that bracket on, get the harmonic balancer on, and then comes the fun part of actually finding true top dead center. So the main thing at this point in time, and I think she stayed there pretty well and good, is the 3-degree mark there, and the timing mark. Now you can't see the timing mark for the auxiliary shaft under there now because she's all covered up, but the timing mark for the crank was approximately the middle of the keyway there. So hopefully she's all lined up. Now one thing I did do with the timing cover when I painted it is I scraped off the timing mark itself so it's a little bit more identifiable, but yeah, it didn't scrape off the front part. There's the mark continues across the top and down the front, so I might just get my paint pen and finish that mark down the front a little bit. But for now, this fella's getting a bit thirsty and a bit hungry, so I'm gonna go have a coffee and have a break and then come back and keep going on this. So be back soon. Alright, I'm back. I had a bite to eat, I had a coffee. Now I've just cleaned up all my bolts for the power steering bracket to be put on. Now and put a little 10mm in first, which is this little hole right here at the bottom at the top. Just gonna do it up enough to sit in there. Now the rest I think 14 mil, 13, 14 mil, 13, yeah, short 10 mil, sorry, short 13, bottom left corner. Now the rest of them go into the head and the cylinder block. This is why I dislike this timing cover, because it's done up through here nice and tight. The holes for here, I don't know if you can see in there properly or not. There we go. Don't line up properly up here. So I gotta loosen the pulley and that one off. So after a bit of mess around, I really need to get organised. Fucking shit pit. Anyway, like I said, this whole setup is a mess around to do with the power steering pump, the timing chain cover, just all of it. I don't like the idea of needing to put 4 things on at one time. But anyway, engineers, it is what it is. It's just, you know, things could be a lot simpler, but like I said, it is what it is. So anyway, at this point in time, we're ready to put the harmonic balancer on. I'll do my little marker on there first, and yeah, go from there. Alright guys, so we're gonna have to leave that one there. Unfortunately, through editing I realised that it's gonna be way too long, and yeah, I think I just need to do editing a bit day by day. Anyway, I hope you stuck around for the whole video, found it a bit informative, whatever, and yeah, in the next one we'll get the harmonic balancer on there and get it all timed up and zip the rocker cover on there and see how she all looks. So yeah, until the next one, I hope you stay safe, I hope you stay well, whatever you are doing, I hope you are enjoying it, and yeah, we'll catch us on the next one. Peace.